Hey listeners, before we get into this episode, I just want to share something with you guys. We have actually partnered with Clever.fm to take this community to the next level. So kung itatanong nyo kung ano ang Clever.fm, so it is a podcast app where you can listen to each episode that you like and engage in meaningful discussions with me and your fellow members of the community. You can also search for each episode that suits your needs, and at the same time, you can take private notes, highlight episodes that you want to share with your friends on social media. Check out clever.fm by downloading it at the App Store or Google Play Store. Experience podcast listening like you've never experienced it before. So see you there, and thank you so much, Clever FM, for partnering with our show. So back to this episode, guys. See you there.
Chill
Chill
Talk.
Chill
Chill
Talks.
Chill Talk.
Chill Talks.
Welcome to Chill Talks Podcast, your companion in your chill time. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chill Talks Podcast, where we discuss anything and everything over a cup of coffee. So I am your host, PJ, and this time this is a very interesting episode because for the first time, this will be centered around politics, which I normally don't do, but this is an exception, and at the same time, this is the first time na lima kaming mag-uusap in this episode. But this actually makes sense because it's a recap ng nangyaring election, memorable moments, and anything like that. So to join us in this wonderful conversation, I gathered parang Avengers lang, I gathered some of the best podcasters in the Philippines to engage in this conversation. So we have Ren from isa na namang Harry Potter podcast. We have Derek from Mungkahi podcast, and Hannah from Asking for a Friend, the podcast, and Franz from On Point, the podcast. So all of their podcast will be linked down in the description. So please check them out. So hello sa inyo, good evening, and thank you so much for showing interest mag-guest sa episode na ito.
Good evening.
Hello. Hello,
Good
PJ.
evening.
Hello.
Salamat sa pag-imbita.
So hello sa inyo. So before we jump into it, so how was it? How did you feel during this past election? Let's start with you, Hannah. Ano yung mga naramdaman mo during this past election?
Na feel I guess siguro nung nalaman ko yung results talaga, I remember seeing myself in front of the TV watching the partial and official results. Parang tulala lang ako and all, and feeling ko dumaan ako sa breakup. Even though masaya naman akong person, but yeah, it felt like at some point nung first 5 minutes siguro nung panonood ko, na feel ko na I was hopeless kasi syempre I think a lot of us, especially the younger generation, nakaramdam tayo ng, alam mo yun, parang purpose sa elections na to, and at the same time I know nangampanya tayo ng mga kandidato natin in our little ways. And then at the same time, aside from the stress, nakakita rin ako somehow ng energy, I think, from my kapwa kakampings. Kasi what happened after that was, nag-comfort lang kami with each other. Tapos, hang out and all. Kumbaga, reminder ba na at the end of the day, it doesn't end sa elections. So, ayun, I think that's how I can sum it up.
Okay, thank you so much, Hannah. How about you, Ren? Kamusta ang emotion mo ngayong tapos na yung election?
Well, before the elections, I was really, really hopeful. In feeling ko, game na. Ito na tayo. Papunta na tayo sa exciting part. Pero, yun nga, nakita yung results ng elections. Parang pinatunayan nun, well, partial pa lang naman, pero pinatunayan nun na nabubuhay tayo sa isang bubble, or ang tawag dito, sa algorithm ng social media. Nakakala mo yung paligid mo, kakampi mo lahat, yun pala mas maraming hindi. So parang nagbigay siya ng ilusyon or siguro baka nasobrahan lang ako ng pagiging hopeful sa ganda ng feeling kapag nandun ka sa campaign, kapag nakikita mo yung mga kasama mo.
Mhm.
But afterwards, siguro the first few days talagang mabigat. Just nakakatuwa na maraming mga tao na yung message lang, uy, kumusta ka? Uy, kumusta ka? Uy, kumusta ka? So, ngayon naman, parang, what can we do, di ba? Papunta pa lang din tayo sa exciting part. I think, kung ano man yung puntahan natin, game, let's meet it head on, di ba? Tuloy lang.
Okay. I get your sentiments din. So later dadagdagan natin lahat 'yan. How about you, Derek? How are you right now?
Actually, nung election day, after kong bumoto, I decided to magbisikleta. Ang naisip ko, wala namang sasakyan, so magbisikleta tayo. So, unfortunately, accident happened, sumemplang, and masakit yung likod ko nung buong araw na yun. And nakahiga lang ako kasi nga ayokong masyadong ginagalaw yung likod ko. And I was watching the results unfold. And actually, even before I decided na I'll go with Lenny and Kiko, I already lowered my expectations. Kasi not because, kasi ako, parang medyo nakaka-mind conditioning talaga yung survey results or survey. So, somehow, medyo feeling ko talaga, hindi na ako masyadong umasa ng kahit na ano. So, parang gulatin nyo na lang ako kung ano yung magiging resulta. Pero still, nung nakita ko yung results, nakahiga ako noon, na pinapanood ko siya, na parang, uy, bilis bilis nung dating ng mga boto. Parang bukod sa masakit na yung likod ko, parang masakit pa ng puso ko na parang it happened. Although, at the end of the day, parang medyo bittersweet kasi at first parang gusto ko sana magkaroon tayo ng majority vote na president. But we saw it happen last Monday, 31 million.
Mhm.
But still, parang hindi yun yung in-expect ko. In this election, I was expecting something like, parang karera na close fight, but all I saw was a different one.
Okay. Thank you so much, Derek. Last, how about you, friends? Kamusta?
Siguro pare-pareho naman kami ng feeling, but sa akin, I would say masakit because kami talaga as a family, we did promise to go all out with our candidate. And in fact, we did 3 weeks na parang we would open our car and then have some music and then talagang makipag-usap sa mga tao from town to town. And talagang we were very hopeful, and ako naman, I got to spend one rally with Lenny Kiko team. So I felt that there was something from the ground. So I really, from my heart, kumbaga heart and mind, parang sabi ko na this is really is it. Papunta na tayo sa exciting na part, and which is for good governance. But as I was watching the result and as it was slowly unfolding, parang talagang mabigat because bilang educator, palagi kong inuulit-ulit sa aking mga estudyante na tumindig tayo, no? And pagkatapos nun na parang how would I explain this to them na first-time voter, karamihan yung mga students ko, and I'm very proud of them for standing doon sa kung ano yung tama, kung ano yung kailangan ng ating bansa. But, when May 10 comes, no, nagtanong yung mga estudyante ko, how will they feel, how will they process. As in, tikom talaga yung bibig ko, and even my Facebook account was shut down. I choose to shut down kasi hindi ko din alam i-process. But now, toned down na yung aking emotions. Parang well-processed na siya. And sana lang, I hope that conversations like this is talagang mapag-usapan pa yung mga implications ng eleksyon na ito. Lalong-lalo na doon sa nanalong ating apparent president na si Bongbong Marcos. Dahil napakaraming implications at sana hindi lang magtapos yung mga conversations na ganito dito dahil kapag nangyari yun ay talagang mauulit lang, no? Vicious cycle, and ayaw naman nating mangyari yun.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your sentiments. And I think personally sa akin din, nung election, nagkaroon kami nagdasal lang kami, me, my dad, and my mom. Dasal kami na whatever happens, it is God's will. So parang doon na isinadjust na lang namin yung magiging resulta. And nung lumabas yung partial results, yun nga, same reaction with Derek. Bilis Pero eventually you come to a point na yan na talaga yung resulta. Yung tipong we were so hopeful na baka may mangyaring alam mo yun, yung mga plot twist na, but it never happened. We were expecting for a plot twist, but it never happened, and eventually we accepted that reality. And later on, habang lumalalim yung discussion natin, makikita natin on the different levels na nagkaroon ng impact ang recent elections natin. So far yun, I am in a point of, I am in a point of acceptance na talo na yung candidate na gusto nating manalo, but we still need to move forward. So with that said, sige lang, go ahead.
Yung sinabi mo yung plot twist, biglang bumalik sa akin yung 2016. I remember nung 2016 VP race.
Mm-hmm.
Bigla lang siyang naalala ko na hindi ako natulog nun kasi binantayan ko talaga siya. Tapos parang ngayon 2022, inisip ko, so, mangyayari ba ulit yun? Pero kahit anong daming hindi ko itulog, hindi talaga hahabulin yun
Hindi talaga.
So parang gusto ko lang sana siyang
sa laki ng gap, yung mga wishful thinking, naging wishful thinking na lang yun din sa part natin Pero that's how it goes. So parang since masyadong mabigat yung mga emotions na pinalabas ninyo, let's highlight first the good things na nangyari ngayong election. So what do you think, Miss Hannah, starting with you, what do you think are the good things that happened ngayong election when you look back into it?
Ako, siguro I'll start with my personal experiences first kasi I was a student activist back in my college days. So, alam ko yung differences ng movement ng hanay ng masa before versus now. Like, every single time na we launch campaigns and may i-raise kaming political discourse sa isang community or basically kahit sa isang group lang, it's very difficult. Like, napakahirap mag-open up yung mga tao sa amin because I think first, syempre, nakaka-overwhelm yung information, and at the same time, they're not actually willing to participate, which was challenging at that time. But, you go through that every day as an activist. And compared to what happened during the 2022 elections and the campaign season itself, I think malaki yung naging pagbabago nung how do I say it? Malaki yung nagbago nung kumpara dun sa mga dating mobilizations and all. Kasi ngayon parang kita mo na in every rally, I think hindi lang naman to particular sa Lenny Kiko movement. I think the fact na a lot of people were raising their opinions, were voicing out their stances, sobrang laking progress nun sa atin bilang isang bansa kasi natututo na tayong gumawa ng safe spaces for us to actually voice out our political stances. And dati kasi parang it was very uncomfortable, parang feeling natin anytime mag-red tag tayo and all. Pero ngayon, I think we still have a long way to go, but it's a start, and I personally think it's good kasi na-exercise natin yung right natin to express ourselves. And tama yung sinabi kanina ni Franz actually. Sana magpatuloy yung mga ganitong ganaps. I think sa podcast episode na to alone, who would have thought, diba, na at some point, nandito tayong 5, we will talk about our rants or kung ano mang emosyon na naramdaman natin ng 2022 elections. And ano ba? Siguro, aside from that, nakita ko talaga na lumabas sa comfort zone yung mga tao. Like, take note na nasa gitna tayo ng pandemya. Pero a lot of people were very extra ngayong campaign season kasi yung iba talaga nag-ipon ng water bottles, nag soli ng mga pagkain and all. And ako personally naranasan ko siya sa isang Lani Kiko movement. So ayun.
Okay. Sa akin naman, pagdagdag lang dun sa sinabi ni Sana, ang isang pinakamagandang nakita ko dito, mukhang maraming tao ang nag-participate sa electoral process. Marami ang voter turnout natin. I think isa sa mga pinakamarami na yon. I mean, in total ng mga tao na lumabas para bumoto, I think that's good. Kasi pinapakita nun na parang marami pa rin naniniwala at gusto tumali, mag-participate sa sistema natin. However flawed it might be, however many things we might find at fault sa system, naniniwala pa rin yung tao dun sa sistema, dun sa demokrasya na pinaglaban ng ating maninuno sa ating kasaysayan. Isang magustuhan ko rin ngayon, parang ang daming kabataan ang naging mas engaged sa campaign. Hindi lang mula dun sa mga usual na kabataan na kita mong sabihin natin mga stereotype na aktivista or tibak or whatever, pero kahit sa iba't ibang sektor, sa iba't ibang lugar sa buong Pilipinas, parang ang daming kabataan na parang engaged na kahit first time voters sila, game from all sides, hindi lang sa campaign movement, kahit dun sa iba pang candidates. Napansin ko rin na lumutang din yung spirit ng volunteerism. Saka, yun, sobrang laking bagay na nakita ko yun, yung volunteerism. Especially, syempre, ang nakita ko dun sa mga kakamping or Lani Kiko na rallies. Kasi yung mga Robredo People's Councils sa iba't ibang lugar, sobrang volunteer-driven nun eh. Kahit paanong sabihin na may binayaran or may hinakot, kung nandun ka, kasali ka, nakita mo, alam mo na kanya-kanyang effort na magdagdag, magbigay, tumulong. Kasi binanggit ni Hana na namumulot ng bote, nabibigay ng pagkain. Pagdating mo pa lang, tapos yung isang simpleng, pagdating mo, alam mo yung parang di naman kayo magkakilala, pero lahat kayo parang, hello, good morning, kumusta? Parang, ang saya nun eh. Iba yung feeling na yun. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung feeling sa ibang camps kasi di naman ako nakasubok. Pero, it's a good thing, it's a good feeling na parang may sense of solidarity yung mga tao during the rallies. Kasi yun, limitaw yung pagtutulungan, pagdadamayan ng mga Pilipino. Lalo na nung last part na nagbago na ng messaging yung Lani campaign na ipapanalo para sa lahat. Na kahit anong kulay mo, welcome ka. So parang ine-echo nun yung unity na sinasabi ni Bongbong Marcos sa campaign niya eh. Pero kita mo nga rin naman when you were there na talagang ipapanalo at gustong isali lahat. No? Gusto niya maging inclusive. So, I think that's a good thing dito sa campaign and election in general.
For me, I think one of the good things, and this is coming from an IT professional, yung transmission of votes was quicker than before. And I still remember the old days, where your ballots are manually counted, and then it takes weeks before knowing kung sino yung nanalo. And so as an IT professional, I am proud na maganda yung takbo nung transmission. Okay, let me just note na yung transmission, hindi to counted yung mga issues sa VCMs whatsoever, pero yung transmission na yun, kasi I have seen multiple government websites na they go down or become unavailable at least minutes or hours after being launched. Isa ditong example yung voters precinct finder. Mainly because pag nagla-launch kasi ang gobyerno natin ng mga websites, mostly hindi sila load tested, hindi sila performance tested. Kumbaga, in-expect nila na kapag tinetest nila, na sila lang yung taong gumagalaw dun sa website. Uy, mabilis naman, so okay to. Tsaka na lang nila ilalabas. At least that's my view, okay? I'm not saying na siguro I could be wrong, but that's my impression of it. I think nung nilabas nila yung voters precinct finder, hindi ko ma-verify yung status ko for hours kasi nga lagi nagda-down or lagi nagiging unavailable. And sabi ko, sige fine, hintayin na lang ako ng mga isang araw. Hindi naman siguro mawawala yan. So naghintay pa ako ng days before ko ma-verify kung active ba ako o hindi. And lately nga, nung nag-test na ako ng ganun, tsaka ko lang na-realize na meron na silang CAPTCHA. So they could distinguish yung robots from actual humans. Actually, I think they've done that before. Like, i-add na lang nila yung CAPTCHA later on na parang hindi nila nagiging lesson learned. Pero yeah, I mean, I think it's coming in from the industry na laging ganyan lang nangyayari para mga crunch time. Masaya ako na at least for the transmission itself, mabilis natin nakita yung boto na wow, parang kani-kanina lang 4 million. Tapos biglang ngayon 14 million tas 21 million. But yeah.
For me naman, what's good about this election, siguro dadagdagan ko na lang yung mga sinabi ng aking mga kasama and then implications din, no? Number one, good na nakita ko talaga dito is the spirit of volunteerism. Well, of course, siguro I have to caveat na din, no? Kasi hindi ko naman na-try din na pumunta doon sa campaign ni BBM. I was just able to watch Lenny Kiko campaign, and then from the ground you can really feel the volunteerism. Yun nga, sabi ni Ma'am Hana, nagpupulot ng mga bote, nagpupulot ng mga trash, and in at least to my memory, ngayon lang sa election na to na highlight kasi yung volunteerism, and napaka-organic that different sectors or different groups were able to form, like for example, Lawyers for Lenny, Mamshis for Lenny. And siguro ang implication nito is that volunteerism will be, or parang organic formation of sectors will be part of the campaign, no? Part na siya ng campaign ng ating mga politician, although with the end result, medyo hindi siya winning strategy. Pero I'm sure that in the previous election talagang mag-iisip na yung ating mga politician to even try, even the house-to-house campaign was even elevated into national campaign, no? Dahil usually naman pag house-to-house, local lang yung kaya nito. But nakita natin sa Lenny Kiko campaign that even in a national level, parang the reception of house-to-house campaign was warm. And then number two, what's good about this is the yun nga, sabi ni Derek, is that the fast transmission of votes or the counts, no? Although ang medyo problematic lang dito is that there were VCMs siguro na nagka-problema din. So the COMELEC or whatever government arm should look into that. But for totality, napakaganda, napaka-positive ng outcome ng campaign na ito. And sana talaga darating yung panahon, no, na politicians will try also na mag-try ng volunteer-centered campaign or people-centered campaign.
Okay, and as for me, pagdating sa good side, one of the things na naging interested ako nung nag-start yung campaign period is that mas na-highlight ngayon yung iba't ibang groups na nagso-support sa mga candidates natin. Kasi before, nung panahon ni Noynoy Aquino, you don't have forums, you don't have Facebook groups, you don't have communities na pare-parehas kayo ng sinusuportahan. Kasi actually, nung election na nag-rise na yung iba't ibang Facebook group, to be honest, sinalihan ko lahat ng communities, FB groups ng lahat ng presidential candidates. Maliban dun sa isa, doon sa Muslim na presidential candidate kasi halos non-existent ang social media niya eh. Pero the rest pinasukan ko. Lenny, BBM, Lacson, Montemayor, si Gonzales, Isko Moreno. And I get to see so many people paano sila mag-voice out, mag-reach out ng kanilang saloobin, and it's amazing to see that because it never happened before. Sa mata ng mga Lenny supporters, si Lenny ang mananalo. Sa mata ng mga Isko supporters, si Isko ang mananalo. Wherever kung saan kang group na nagbibilong, you always feel na yun yung tama lagi. Parang the beauty of group dynamics was highlighted during the election, and at the same time, isa sa pinakamaganda, na-highlight yung mga candidates na usually iniitsapwera lang ng mga tao. Yes! Iniitsapwera pa rin sila ngayong election. I cannot deny that fact. Pero the fact that people like Luke Espiritu, people like Doktora Mingita Padilla, people like Shell Jokno, they have this reach na kahit sinong tao nagiging familiar na sa kanila because of how media portrays the candidates. Merong mga political debates, may mga ibang mga presidential candidates nagfe-Facebook Live. Nagkakaroon ng engagement with their supporters na hindi nangyari before. Dati, wala tayong personal attachment with the candidates, but now we have that personal attachment. That's why mabigat, and that's why masaya din ang feeling ng mga supporters ng nanalo, at mabigat din yung naramdaman ng mga natatalo. So, yan. Actually, that was the best thing that I noticed during this election. But before tayo magsimula sa negatives, anything, guys, that you want to add doon sa mga sinabi ng fellow podcasters nyo kanina?
Natahimik na. Sure. But ako siguro I would like to emphasize na bukod dun sa sense of volunteerism and all, and actually tama yung sinabi mo, PJ, na ngayon compared to other elections, may personal attachment tayo sa mga kandidato, and I think that's very commendable kasi nagre-research tayo enough to know more about our candidates. Siguro medyo problematic lang on some other candidates that I know gumagamit talaga ng misinformation or ng fake news. But I think at the end of the day, what's important was the political participation of everyone. So, ayun.
So, if wala na tayong pwedeng ma-add, let us proceed with the nitty-gritty parts of the election. So, we discussed the good. So, ano naman sa tingin nyo ang mga bad na nangyari during this election period? So, let's start with you, Miss Hannah.
Siguro I'll focus on the results kasi yun talaga yung for me, I'd like to emphasize on it kasi for me it was alarming. It's not bad, but at the same time, for me, bukod sa alarming, doon ko na grasp yung idea na, okay, what if ito nga talaga siya? What if 31 million people actually voted for Marcos Duterte? So, reason why I want to put it sa bad, kasi it's clear na kahit hindi natin pwedeng i-blame yung mga voter na 31 million, apparently, meron tayong sistema na gumagamit ng machinery to corrupt, to peddle lies, and muddle our education. And for me, it's very alarming kasi alam naman natin lahat siguro sa ating mga privileged enough na may access sa kasaysayan, sa mga legit sources and references. Alam natin na malaki yung consequence pag nanalo yung Marcos Duterte. Pero siguro mas napatunayan ng elections na to na okay, baka hindi natin talagang in-expect na ganito pala talaga kalala yung sistema natin ngayon. And baka hindi natin kilala yung mga Filipinos enough, like yung mga nasa laylayan talaga. Kasi imagine, even though we were actually privileged enough and kaya nating mas i-enlighten yung mga taong to, nanalo pa rin, nanaig pa rin yung wrong side of history. So, for me, dun ko mas gustong i-focus like yung results and all. Kasi malinaw na talagang laganap yung disinformation, yung malinformation, ganyan. And bukod sa pagiging bad niya, siguro I think it's a starting point na dun tayo pwedeng magsimula. I mean,
Mhm.
just like what other people say, papunta pa lang tayo sa exciting part. So, I think eto na talaga yung real deal na hindi na tayo gagamit ng mga artista, mga celebrity. Wala na tayong speakers, LED lights, or wala na tayong pink shirts and all. This is the real deal na challenge sa atin lumabas and pumunta sa lansangan na ang dala-dala lang natin, prinsipyo natin. So, I think that's the start.
Sa akin naman, ayun, kagaya ng isang nabanggit na ni Misana, yung isa sa mga pinakamasama para sa akin is leading up to the elections, yung disinformation, misinformation, malinformation, I don't know ano pa ba pwede natin itawag, basta yung kabaligtaran ng tunay na information na sobrang nagkalat siya sa social media at nagsisip into real life kasi yung mga tao, yun din yung kinokonsume natin. I say natin kasi nakikita rin natin yun. Tsaka kasama naman tayo na Pilipino rin tayo. So sa dulo, ang resulta ng eleksyon na to ay cargo de conciencia pa rin nating lahat, I would say, kasi bahagi tayo lahat ng sistema. Kasama rin sa akin sa bad yung iniluwal na parang hatred. Siguro dahil nga sa sinabi kanina na masyado naging na positive, di ba, na naging parang personal yung campaign, naging personal yung attachment ng mga tao sa kanilang mga candidates. So, siguro, iniluwal nun na yung magkaroon ng hatred minsan. Pero, medyo masama yun if you ask me. Lalo na kapag ka nagbabardagulan na yung mga tao, tapos ang inuuwian na niya, ad hominem na lang, hindi na yung punto, no? Nagiging fallacy na lang, nagiging logical na yung mga tao. I think that's bad. I mean, okay sana yung feisty tayo, parang, game, laban natin to. Kaso, ano na hindi na yung point, yung point, I don't know if that makes sense. Nagiging, yung ano na lang yung tirahin na lang yung kalaban.
Mhm.
Siguro, isasama ko rin dito yung trolls, kasi totoo talaga may trolls eh. Ngayon, naglilitawan yung mga, kasi pare-pareha sila ng DP, di ba? Na magtatanong, tapos yung sagot, sila rin yung sasagot, kasi nakakalimutan magpalit ng di ba? Which shows us yung trolls. So yun, dun ako hindi masyadong panatag, lalong-lalo na, yung binabanggit ni Misana kanina, yung tungkol sa wrong side of history, na dapat mailuwal nito na na magising sa atin yung punta muna ulit tayo dun sa legit, punta muna ulit tayo dun sa tunay, saka dun sa mga facts. Huwag natin kalimutan yung facts. Dun lang muna tayo sa totoo bago yung opinion or whatever. Pero ayun, yun yung mga bad for me.
Sa akin naman, I realized that actually hindi naman to sobrang ngayon lang na-realize. I realized this way back in 2016 is that we no longer vote based on credentials. I don't know about the past elections nung panahon ni na Diosdado Macapagal. I don't know. Hindi pa ako buhay nun. But based on previous elections, we vote based on popularity, based on charisma. I learned this in 2016 kasi I voted for Duterte noong 2016. Okay, and that's based on because I based my decision on surveys and yung kanyang fiery speech style. Although nag-die down yon eventually until na-realize ko na what are you doing sa pandemic. But then again, going back to the elections, ang problema kasi is that kapag nanalo yung binoto natin, like what I did back then in Duterte, we want to get affirmation na tama yung binoto natin. Because we don't vote on credentials, we vote on charisma. So, binoto kita. So now, kailangan makita ko kung talagang tama na ba na binoto kita. So, So we follow Facebook pages, we follow Facebook groups, we follow celebrities based on our beliefs. Yung nag-agree sa atin. My mom's YouTube account focused more on BBM-related vloggers. Yun ang laging finifeed sa kanya ni YouTube. Because nakuha yon dahil ng algorithm, dahil sa kanya mga previous videos na pinanood. And so mula noon, since January, nag-aaway kami niyan. Kasi lagi siyang, asing sobra na siyang focus kay BBM. The problem with that is that it created an echo chamber. Actually, ang maganda sa'yo, PJ, is you joined other, iba. Nag-join ka sa lahat ng groups, ng lahat ng kandidato, which is good kasi nakikita mo yung perspective ng lahat. Kaso ang problema, hindi lahat ganun. So, anong nangyari? Nagkaroon ng echo chamber. Nagkaroon tayo ng, kumbaga, mga groups na puro baka yung kasama natin. Mga, oo nga, di ba?
Sorry.
So, yun yung naging problema. If we get good news for the accomplishments na nagawa ng binoto natin, we feel proud. We say, thank you. Kasi ikaw talagang binoto ko, buti na lang talaga. I mean, remember that CC Lex, that bridge in Cebu. I know, France know this. It's not build, it's PPP. Pero somehow, yung mga inauguration, yung mga comments ng mga tao doon, thank you, Mr. Duterte. Ikaw talaga ang hero namin. So, yun yung naging problema. The problem is, kapag hindi na maganda yung mga news na lumalabas about sa manok natin, naiinis tayo. Okay? I'm not saying just the other side. I'm also speaking for my side. Naiinis tayo. We feel violated. But ang mahirap is, instead na mainis tayo dun sa leader na binoto natin, naiinis tayo dun sa media. Nababaling natin yung galit natin sa media na nagre-report lang nung nangyari. So, bakit ganon? Why don't we put our elected leaders on a higher standard? Why do we shoot the messenger? So, yun lang yung for me.
Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Sakto.
Nawala si... Okay. Sige, go ahead, Franz. Oh, nawala pa rin siya. Sige lang, okay lang. May timestamp naman ako kung ano oras to para madaling i-cut. Okay. So, para to keep this conversation going na lang muna. Personally din, one of the bad things na notice ko din during this election is that ang labanan ngayon is no longer candidate against the candidate. Hindi na siya platform versus platform. It's actually supporters versus supporters. Kasi, yun nga, ako ay pumunta sa iba't ibang Facebook groups ng iba't ibang grupo ng mga supporters for presidential candidates. And most of them, ang labanan is hindi na binabangga yung ideology ng kandidato nila, kundi binabangga nila kung ano yung mga attitude ng mga supporters ng kandidatong hindi nila iboboto. And that's bad. When picking a leader, you don't focus on the supporters dahil hindi mo trip, ay si ganito tanga, ay si ganito elitista. Pero hindi naman yun yung candidate na yun. Hindi na siya nagiging battle of intelligence, which is hindi siya battle of the intelligence, battle of the credentials na usually dapat yun ang standard natin when choosing a leader. I believe New Zealand, ganun ang standard nila. So sadly, wala pa tayo sa ganung level. And another thing is, we still worship the position. We still worship someone who has money. We still worship someone who is in an incumbent position na mataas ang pinangahawakan. Ano ang proof nito? Yung tipong walang paki yung mga tao na gumagastos ng ganito kalalaki. Walang paki yung mga tao ng pera ng taong bayan yung ginagamit for going to certain events, for going to certain parties. Kasi ang justification nila, ay deserve naman yan kasi may nagagawa naman sa bayan. Which is wrong. If you are someone in the government and bigla kang nagkaroon ng nagkaroon ka ng biglang luxurious lifestyle, it should be questioned by the people. But no, we are still looking up on those people na may pera and may position. And at the end of the day, yes, it can be a double-edged sword na tayo ay naging attached masyado sa ating mga presidential candidates na kung saan most of the things that are happening in social media or even in families, discussion sa mga friends, lahat ay nagre-revolve na lang on the emotions. Nagre-revolve na lang on mali ka, tama ako. Yung tipong nakikipag-usap tayo to prove them wrong and prove ourselves right and not to talk about kung ano yung dapat nating ma-achieve as a nation. Mas lalong na-divide nga yung mga tao during this election. Nagkaroon na ng exclusivity per groups. Kasi one of the things that I noticed since to be honest, yes, pink ako. And the thing that I hated is nung nanalo si Marcos or yung presumably na nanalo na leading na si Marcos, tas biglang nagsabi na I have so many friends who supported Lenny and Kiko na biglang nagsabi na ay wag na natin yung tulungan, binoto yung yung talagang tinakwil as a fellow Filipino. Then biglang nagbago nang nagsabi si Lenny na itatayo niya yung angat. Ano yun yung angat? Yung NGO na Angat Project. Which is good. That's why talagang nag-admire ako sa statement na yun ni Lenny na lahat pwedeng tulungan. Kasi if hindi nagsalita ng ganun si Lenny, I am sure the divide will still, the gap between fellow Filipinos mas lalong lalaki. Kasi since the principle of group dynamics kasi, once you belong to a certain group, there is a high chance hindi ka naaalis dyan, or there is a high chance na you will exonerate the other groups na hindi kaparehas ng paniniwala nyo. So yun yung nangyayari ngayon. Nagiging tribal system na ang Philippines. We have Tribe Lenny, Tribe Marcos, Tribe Moreno, pero most of the time nang na-highlight is Tribe Lenny and Tribe Marcos At na never sila magsisi eye to eye. And that just further up the divide. So parang that is one of the bad things na na-observe ko this election. So far yan. To our listeners pala, before we before we exchange our thoughts, to our listeners na wala si Franz during our recording. So pag humabol siya, dagdag isasabay pa rin natin sa conversation. Okay, so let's let's go with Ren. Ano yung mga may add mo?
Siguro idagdag ko lang yung gusto kong Marcosin. gusto kong Marcosin yung unity mula sa side ni Marcos. Ngayon kasi kailangan natin ng unity. I think whoever won, I think we need unity na magpare-pare sa tayo na let's be vigilant. Tingnan natin, supportan natin yung magandang gagawin ni Marcos. Hopefully may marami siyang magandang gawin. Diba? Let's be united in that. Huwag na nating awayan yung mga iba. I mean, tapos na dapat yung awayan. Okay na to. Ito na yung resulta di ba? Maging bitter tayo, wala namang mangyayari, or maging sobrang feeling vindicated yung mga nag-support kay Marcos na so paano? Kakalimutan na rin ba nila yung unity? Aawayan na lang nila yung mga kakamping at yung mga Manny Pacquiao supporters sa Manny Isko and everyone else? Diba dapat ngayon natin i-highlight yung unity? Dapat, game, tara, mag-unity na tayo. Tapos, maging united din tayo, nababantayan natin yung mga nanalo mula national hanggang local. Kapag may sablay sila, pansinin din natin yun. Sa akin yun, dapat maging united tayo doon. Tapos, isang dagdag ko na lang din, yung sinabi na puro personality, ito yung isang reminder ko dun sa mga estudyante ko days before the elections Sabi ko, subukan nating kalimutan muna yung personal na tira natin doon sa nakakabaaway natin. Balikan lang muna natin ulit yung pinaka-basic. Anong plataforma, anong kandidatong gusto natin? At sigurado ba tayo na pinakinggan din natin yung plataforma ng kalaban? Para masabi natin na nag-isip talaga tayo at hindi tayo nadala lang nung echo chamber na binabanggit ni Derek. Direct, sorry. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you so much, Ren. Derek?
Yeah, add ko lang din dun sa sinabi mo about dun sa mga supporters, no? Kasi I called out someone sa Twitter. Masyadong toxic sa Twitter So, actually ako wala akong kinakampihan pero kasi ito, kakamping din to. And nag-generalize siya saying, can we all just agree na, baby BBM supporters are low class, bastos, and no manners kind of people. So yun yung sumagot ako na parang, ma'am, I disagree. Kasi kahit naman sa ang side merong ganun. Hindi tayo santo. Sa side ni Lenny, may mga ganun din. I can see that on Facebook groups, on news articles na nagko-comment. Meron tayong fair share of bastos, low class, and no manners. So, sa totoo lang, sabi nga, let us reject their principle, but let's love the followers. Kasi in the end, lahat naman tayo Pilipino And 'di ba? Kasi doon nga mag-a-apply yung 'di ba yung nga sinasabi ni Lenny na parang 'di ba dapat radical tayo magmahal. So hindi siya radical na pagmamahal if we call out those supporters ng iba na low class, bastos, and no manners. So parang alam mo 'yun. Wala tayong monopoly of tama. In our eyes tama ito pero meron din silang different view. So yun lang yung masasabi ko. And I think that person replied naman kumbaga parang nag-backtrack naman siya and inamin naman niya na mali siya. So all good. Parang hindi naman kami nag-bash.
Okay, that's good. At least naayos yung usapan. So how about you, Miss Hannah? I think you want to add something then.
Yeah, same experience with Direct, no? I always see a bunch of kakampings on Twitter, like on social media in general, na they tend to detach themselves from the BBM supporters or other supporters in general. Parang feeling nila they are privileged enough to the point na gusto na nilang maging mapanghati. In short. And I think that's something na tama yung sinabi mo, PJ, na it's somehow part of the bad kasi nakakalimutan na natin yung totoong essence ng movement natin, and especially tungkol saan ba yung elections in the first place. What's it for? I mean, para lang ba siya sa isang particular na hanay or sila ni Kiko movement lang ba? Para lang ba siya sila ni Kiko supporters, etc. And I think we tend to forget that na more than anything, at the end of the day, the power will still come from us regardless of the party, the color that we want to campaign and all. And siguro that's also part of the ugly, which I will add later. But
okay,
yeah,
later.
That's my insight. Yeah.
And parang to add something then, and during our conversation, na-realize ko lang talaga na I'm glad Lenny lost. Kasi tignan nyo ha, I'm glad Lenny lost in a way na imagine nyo is if si Lenny ang nanalo and si Marcos ay natalo, how would the supporters react? They will act with hostility. They will act with no respect kay Lenny as the president. As in, na-force ko siya. Unlike nung natalo si Lenny, yung tipong mas naging open for change ang karamihan ng halos lahat ng kilala kong Lenny supporters. Ang naging statement na lang is hopefully you are right and we are wrong. And that's one of the best things na narinig ko. And lalo na nung nagsalita si Lenny na yung pag-angat ng NGO, it would make sense na since natalo si Lenny, ibig sabihin merong 14 million plus na supporters si Robredo na willing mag-adapt, willing sumuporta pa rin sa government so long as tama yung ginagawa ng gobyerno. Kasi imagine if si Lenny ang nanalo, kahit maraming ginawang tama si Lenny, hindi yan ma-appreciate ng mga Marcos supporters. Kasi nga, ang tinatarget nila is yung tao, which is Lenny, and not what is happening with the country, which is opposite sa mga Lenny supporters. So, hopefully, talaga, as Sir Bongbong Marcos becomes the president, na maganda yung trajectory ng bansa. And I am quite sure na karamihan ng supporters ni Lenny will also support the current government so long as maganda yung trajectory. So parang gana lang. Just my 2 cents. And hi Franz, welcome back.
Yon, bumalik na siya.
Hi Franz.
Sorry.
You were gone. Anong tawag nito? Let us proceed. If you want to add something kasi hindi ka nakapag-share ng the bad. Bigla kang nawala kanina.
Siguro ang nakikita kong the bad dito among the election cycle that I've witnessed, kasi batang-bata pa naman ako, this has been, to my recollection, the most divisive in the sense that kung hindi ka namin, I mean, kung pink ka, red, meaning kung hindi ka kasama doon sa anong mga kulay na yon, kaaway kita. And with that divisiveness being said, parang na-volume siya or na-equalizer pa siya more ng social media. It is because, alam naman natin lahat that sa social media, no one can stop you from posting. No, may nagsasabi pa nga na this is my wall, so my rules. And siguro ang kailangan lang natin dito is we have to practice, I don't know, within the ability of our government, to start calling in social media firms to be responsible, meaning they should start taking down pages that spreads this and misinformation or kung ano mang tawag nila doon, because sila lang naman ang makakagawa nun. And as receivers of whatever information, tayo ang magiging host ng information na yun, meaning isi-share natin yun sa iba. And then kasi itong mga social media firms na ito is kailangan din nilang matutuhan na they have the responsibility to be gatekeepers of informations that will steer the discourse. Dahil alam ko naman na lahat tayo gustong mag-share ng discourse, gustong i-shape yung discourse. But sana lang siguraduhin na ang ipopost natin, i-share is something that holds water and will shape really the discourse that we wanted to share.
Okay. So, with that said, let us proceed. I think, doon pa lang sa bad, marami na tayong gustong sabihin. Pero let's just highlight first yung funny moments naman. Ano yung mga, for you, personal, ano yung mga nakakatawa na, o yung, pag nakakatawa, I mean yung talagang natatawa tayo, hindi, ay nakakatawa o naniniwala sa fake news. Hindi yun, no, hindi sa ganung konteksto. Memorable moments, funny moments that you witnessed during this campaign period. I think let's start with Miss Hannah.
Ako muna, siguro.
Oh, sige. Oh, sige, ka na muna.
Sorry, sorry nawawala kasi yung internet. Can you repeat? Sorry.
Okay. So, funny moments tayo na
okay.
na-encounter mo this election.
Funny. Okay, so let's go to the funny part. Siguro, I can't think of anything else aside from the bardagulan, like sa Twitter, the comment section in general. I mean, and yung mga dark humor, I think, nakakatawa, but at the same time, nakakalungkot na umabot na talaga tayo sa acceptance part. Alam mo yun, na parang gumagawa na ng chant yung mga tao na ang presidente, Bongbong Marcos. Ganong level na yung humor natin. Kasi umabot na sa point na, okay, tanggap na natin and all, and barda time na. It's barda time sa comment section, tapos na yung radical na pagmamahal. But, ayun, siguro, coping mechanism yun ng younger generation. I'm not sure, but it's entertaining to read and to listen to funny stories from organizers of rallies and all. But yeah, I think that's the only funny thing that I can mention for the 2022 elections.
I think yung tawag niya, yung magiging sahog sa Nutriban, magiging cement.
Yeah, ganong level na. I mean, kumbaga may level na ng ng parang paano ba natin na-approach yung mga apologists, etc. Parang Nutriban level ba siya or Taliano Gold level, ganon.
Okay.
Nakakatawa, but at the same time, alam mo yun, parang hindi mo alam kung magki-cringe ka or tatanggapin mo ba yung realidad na some people are just misinformed. Ganon. So, yun.
Yeah, that kinda happens then. So, thank you so much, Hannah. So, Ren, gusto mo humabol?
Dagdag. Gusto ko sana sabihin na nakakatawa yung mga fake news peddlers and blah blah blah. Natawa ako dun sabi mo wag yun, pero ewan ko, tawa ako after elections na, di ba, nanalo na kasi BBM or presumptive nanalo na siya eh. Tapos, yung mga ibang kakilala ko, personal na kakilala ko na supporters niya, biglang sabi sa akin, nagugulat daw sila, bakit nanalo si ganito, bakit nanalo si ganyan sa Senate? Natawa ako sa isip ko, kasi sabi ko, gago ka ba? Pinoto mo nga yun si BBM, ba't nagugulat ka na nanalo si Jinggoy? Gago ka ba? Sorry, i-edit mo na lang yung mura, pero doon ako natawa na parang, hindi ba parang magkalinya yun, kasi magka-team sila, so parang why are you so surprised? Parang, why are you surprised that Robin won? Part siya ng unit team slate or guest siya doon, di ba? So parang, yun, nakakatawa sa kanya. Pero yun, dagdag ko lang din na nakakatawa talaga din yung pagkita mo yung mga how people make fun of Lenny na lang, kasi parang yung iba medyo nag-aalalay sila kung paano nila i-make fun si Bongbong, kasi hindi nila alam kung hanggang saan level kayang pagtawanan. Kasi pag kay Lenny, parang lahat, pag tinignan mo yung mga comment section ng mga live ni Lenny, saka yung grabe pagtawanan si Lenny, grabe gamitin sa memes eh. Parang, alam na.
Yeah,
diba, parang alam niyo yung tilay niya yung pang blindfold. I mean, it's not
yeah.
Ay, mga placards. So, that's funny. Siguro, pinapakita lang nun yung feeling natin na mas hindi pikon si Ma'am Lenny pagdating sa sa mga ganong jokes. Na ngayon, siguro kinakapapa nila si Bongbong. Kung magiging ganun ba siya o magiging halalagot ka man, Nutriband ba nga or whatever.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. So, thank you so much, Ren.
For me, actually marami to eh. First would be the memes. Sobrang dami lumabas na memes. Actually, for me, sa lahat sa kanila, si Calio de Guzman, he's pure gold in terms of all things funny. I know na he's a serious person. Okay, I'm not making fun of him or anything. I remember kasi may mga post kasi sa mga news websites or Facebook pages ng news websites na mga images ng mga kandidato and then some quotes. Yung mga quotes na mga sinabi nila. And minsan yung mga pictures ng mga kandidato provocative na parang may imagine mong sinasabi nila yon as you read yung quote nila. And I remember one post wherein sinabi ata ni Mr. Marcos na he will not join the debates. I don't know. I mean, I don't know which one. Lahat naman yung hindi niya sinalihan. Pero meron isa doon na hindi niya sinalihan because meron siyang reason. And makikita mo yung picture ni Calio de Guzman. And just picture it in your mind kung ano yung itsura ni Calio de Guzman. It's a picture of him. And then, ang quote lang is, palusot. And it's just funny na, I mean, there's still someone out there na can say things na hindi sila bastos, pero alam mo yung mga ganong sundot na it's funny pero it's true. Another thing would be yung showdown ni Mr. Espiritu, ni Attorney Luke Espiritu, ni suspended lawyer Gadon, and ni quote-unquote human rights lawyer Roque. Na it was, I think yun yung, for me, yun yung highlight ng SMNI debates. Kasi actually, ang galing nga na sumali sila doon, si Calio D and si Attorney Espiritu. Sumali sila doon knowing na it's a bailiwick of the Marcoses, or at least we thought it is the bailiwick of the Marcoses. So nakakatawa lang yung part na yun na alam mo yun, he's ready to call them out without being, I mean, some may say it's rude, pero it's just the truth, and sometimes the truth really hurts. So yeah, so yun lang yung mga parts. Actually, medyo nakakatawa na medyo nakakainis yung dance moves ni Mr. Roque, pero I'm really glad na it didn't
Oh my God.
it didn't give him anything. I think yun lang yung mukha lang niya while dancing, that's really cringe, pero looking back, I'm just happy na he did it because at least meron pa tayong taste na hindi nadadala sa sayaw ang mga kampanya.
Hindi nadadala sa sayaw. Nanalo si Budot sa last election. At least yun na bagong.
Sorry.
Okay. Nito. Well, we are before we add later on, Franz, anything to add doon sa funny moments? After ko dagdag batuhan ulit tayo.
Siguro, the funny thing is that first nakita ko is how creative, again, the side of Lenny Kiko when it comes to making their placards, no, na parang sayangin mo na ako, wag lang si Lenny. Stuff like that. I mean, it relieves the tension, and it gives you the mood, no, nga instead of magbatuhan kayo ng mga baho, politicians to politicians or supporters to supporters, those funny placards, witty placards, tones down the mood. And then number 2, nakakatawa na we are still in the mindset of, like, for example, in the part of Harry Roque's campaign, no, na parang doon pa din tayo for the entertainment side na sumasayaw or nag-e-entertain. I don't know if you've seen his post, no, na parang kada rally sumasayaw, pero hindi ko lang alam kung alam ba niya na nakakatawa siya, knowing na hindi naman, minsan may nananalong senatorial ball na sumasayaw, but to this time, no, I'm quite sure na siguro may level of maturity na yung mga Filipinos when it comes to voting, at least doon po sa senator na part. So, pero medyo natatawa pa din ako na may mga candidates who seem to do that for entertainment purposes na medyo nakakatawa na siya to a certain extent.
Okay.
Pero hindi naman sila nananalo.
Okay. Parang to add my 2 cents to the funny parts. When it comes to the memes, yes. Super daming memes na tawa ko ng tawa regardless kung sinong candidate. And parang it just goes to show na if you can make fun of your leader and that leader can take the humor doon sa ginagawa mo, that's a quality of a good leader. Na kung kaya niyang pagtawanan, kung paano siya pagtawanan ng mga tao. So, parang example yung ngipin ni Shell Jokno, parang ginamit niya as his platform. Yung Lenny Lugaw, ginamit as a form of advocacy. And one of the things doon sa speaking of lugaw, naalala ko one time po sa Facebook, yung pink na lugaw. Yung tipo nung nakita ko yun, I am a Lenny supporter, pero nung nakita ko yung pink lugaw, that looks unappetizing. Personally, ayokong makakita ng pink na lugaw sa buong buhay ko, especially red and green burgers din. Oh my God. Other things na nakakatawan, na-mention din ni Derek kanina, yung Luke Espiritu versus the self-proclaimed attorneys, na I think personally they don't deserve that title. So at the same time, yung makipagbaragdagulan, iba talaga ang humor ng Pinoy . Malakas mang asar ang Pinoy. yung ginagamit ng ibang tao yung logic ng supporters against them, tapos hindi na mamalayan na ginagamitan na pala sila nung logic na ginagamit nila lagi. Yung tipong respect my opinion, tapos pag sa kanila binato na sila yung nagagalit. I found it ironically funny. It's sad, but it's kind of sad, pero nakakatuwa din. And I think one of the things na nagpatawa talaga sa akin genuinely, yung kay Lenny na yung naghahadukin siya, yung naka martial arts garb si Lenny, tapos naghahadukin siya. Si Marcos naka Star Wars. Ang daming parodies na ginawa ng mga Pilipino, and yeah, I love those things. And parang kung sa mata ng iba, it's making fun of a candidate, but personally, if you can make fun of a candidate, it means that you're comfortable with them, and you will see how a leader reacts when he or she is faced with that kind of humor. And yeah, kaya walang nakaka-joke ngayon ng Yui kay Marcos. I think si Rowena Guanzo lang ata ang may lakas ng loob gumawa nun eh.
Kasi friends sila.
I think si Rowena Guanzo lang may lakas ng loob gumawa ng Yui na jab at Marcos. Pero other than that, so far yun lang naman. Ang election kasi natin is funny and at the same time depressing din. Especially kay Harry Roque. I have so many regrets or I have so many parang naaawa ako kay Roque. There's something, I don't know. Ayoko maging conspiracy theory pero ayoko maging conspiracy theorist when it comes to Harry Roque pero I am sure aware siya sa mga pinagagagawa niya. Maybe he has no choice but to do that. So, I digress. So, before we proceed with the ugly, anything that you would like to add? Ren, kanina may gusto kang i-add kanina sa sinasabi nila Derek kanina. Sige Hana, add ka na rin after ni Ren.
This siguro naisip ko lang with Harry Roque. Kasi 'di ba parang for most of his life naman, HR ano naman talaga siya, advocate. Tapos iniisip ko lang baka he was playing a game na kaya siya nagpapakaganon para lang makaupo tapos pag upo niya tsaka siya magiging babalik sa pagiging HR practitioner. I don't know. I really don't know. Parang binenta niya muna sarili niya sa kampon ng kadiliman bago para pag sa loob na siya ng Senate magawa niya na yung mga policy. Pero ano lang, siguro I'm just being naive about that. I don't know. Pero isa na lang siguro, natatandaan ko, bigla lang lumitaw sa isip ko na isa sa mga rallies na meron ako na isang nakitang placard, pink ang kulay ng pusi, parang ganun, na parang bordering on, ano ba to? Patatawa ba ako dito? Offensive na ba siya? Or I don't know.
How about you, Hana? Ano yung gusto mong i-add?
Ayun, since we're talking about Harry Roque, can I just say, before, like, sa school namin, he would talk, like, magfo-forum siya. At tungkol pa yan sa martial law, take note. And it's just super sad and disappointing. Kumbaga, total disappointment talaga na bigla siyang magsiswitch. Like, lilipat siya ng pagtindig. Alam mo yun, nakakalungkot na ngayon, kita nyo, diba, sobrang cringy na sumasayaw na siya, tapos basa na yung damit niya for I don't know what reason, but gets nakakalungkot na ganong level na kaya niyang ibenta yung prinsipyo niya. And ayun, just wanted to express that.
Okay, so parang that's it for the funny parts. And to be honest, wala naman talaga masyadong funny parts na nangyari sa from time to time meron. Pero yun, let's proceed with one of the heaviest parts ng conversation natin which is the ugly. So jump starting with you again, Miss Hannah. Ano sa tingin mo yung mga naging ugly sides na nakita mo during this election?
Hindi ko kasi fully masabi na ugly. Siguro, parang rooms for improvement. Kasi, maraming kailangang harapin na issues na tingin ko may kakulangan tayo sa kung paano natin siya in-approach. And gets naman na, syempre, maiksi kasi yung campaign season and all. Like, randomly, magugulat ka na lang nung patapos na yung election, yung campaign season. Doon na humahabol yung house-to-house campaigns, yung talagang heart-to-heart na talaga na talk with people. Pero, ayun, siguro mas maganda kung napaghandaan natin yun, na nagkaroon tayo ng mas sistematiko na movement. And at the same time, ano pa ba mga ugly? Siguro, I think, ulitin ko na lang ulit yung sinabi ko kanina na ang pinakamalaking kalaban kasi natin dito yung organized na pagpaplano ng kabila. Na in the long run, imagine nyo more than 30 years, ngayon, kumbaga hinubaran ng yung lipunan natin na ito tayo at the moment. Ganito kapangit yung exposure natin sa mga ganitong bagay. And sobrang kulang yung efforts natin. Sana, no? I mean, bukod sa pagiging pangit niya, makita natin na baka mas kailangan nating paghandaan yung mga susunod na buwan. Kasi, again, lahat naman tayo, we can all agree na this is just the start. So, I think dapat mas maging organic, mas systematic yung approach natin. Hindi na siya, matapos na siya sa bardagulan, like more than anything, kahit siguro nakakatawa or nagki-cringe na tayo kasi sobrang lala na ng mga BBM supporter to the point na ako personally natatakot ako sa kanila kasi feeling ko parang anytime they can actually do a physical fight with you. Ganong level na yung paniniwala nila sa kandidatong binoto nila. And then again, babalikan natin yung sinabi ni VP Lenny. Kailangan pa rin hindi maging mapanghati, mas maging radical tayo sa approach natin ngayon. So, ayun.
Okay.
Ugly, very very simple.
Mhm.
Pinag-usapan natin kanina, ugly. Harry Roque dancing, ugly. Pero
Shit.
siguro yung isa sa mga pinaka-ugly na hindi ko talaga maintindihan ba't nila ginawa, anong kinalaman, yung naglabas ng sex scandal, deepfake sex scandal ng isa sa mga anak ni VP Lenny.
Mhm.
That's just bad. That's just super bad. It's just sobrang pangit nun. Parang ano bang wala namang kahit anong kinalaman yun sa plataforma ni VP Lenny, sa totoo lang. Even if that was true, if that were true, so what? I would think dapat so what? Ano naman kung meron siyang sex video? I mean, she's human. So parang to think na may mga taong gumawa noon para masira palalo si Lenny. At iniisip nila na makakasira siya kay Lenny. At that's very ugly if you ask me. Bukod pa dun sa mga usual na ugly na vote buying and stuff. Kasi yung mga iba binanggit na rin naman natin kanina yung mga fake news, no? Sinama na natin sa bad yun eh. Siguro idagdag ko na rin isa sa mga ugly din yung pangmamataas ng yun nga binanggit na rin na reference na kanina, nagmamataas yung ibang kakamping, yung elitism na we have to admit it, meron talagang mga kasama natin sa movement na may ganong tendencies. Na kaya nga si VP Lenny kahit sa mga huling rallies niya yung talagang lagi niya binabalik, wag na natin patulan. Labanan na lang natin yung misinformation pero balikan natin lagi mas radical na pagmamahal kasi meron talagang elitism eh. Totoo talaga eh. Hindi ko sinasabing wala yung kabilang side.
Mhm.
Pero meron talaga yung sa atin that I think it can really turn ugly. Ako personally sa sarili ko, matinding pagpipigil din sa sarili ang gagawa ko eh. Siguro iniisip ko na lang lagi pag nag-post ako na sobrang matigas, sobrang baon, marami ring masasaktan na kamag-anak ko at kakilala. So, sige na nga, wag na nga. Kasi pagkatapos sa election, sila pa rin yung mga kainuman ko, sila pa rin yung mga hindi ko na nga sila hatak. Baka magkaroon pa ng mas malalim na rift. Dahil pag sinobrang tigas ko naman yung pagiging supporter din kay VP. Lalo na pagka minsan talaga parang sa isip ko parang ang dami kong gustong sabihin na hindi, sige, wag mo na sabihin kasi nga it will become ugly. So yun.
For me, ugly, quick is yung Easter Sunday press conference. Medyo
yeah.
na-dishearten ako. Na-discourage ako kay Isko and kay Ping. Actually, more on... Actually, pareho sila. Kasi sa totoo lang, if you go through my Twitter feed, ang una ko talagang bet is si Ping, si Mr. Lacson. Because I think he is capable. Yung pinanood kong interview niya with the Chamber of Commerce, he has a very clear plan of what needs to be done. So, siya talaga yung una kong bet. Kaso mula nung nagsimula na silang mag-mudslinging, medyo na-dishearten ako. Na parang, at first he was saying na hindi kami nagmamanslinging, it's beyond us, parang ganun. Pero why is it that they do that? And then he started blocking people in Twitter simply because hindi sila nag-agree. Kaya nga sila tinawag na si Ping Blockson. Isko is isa rin yan na parang bukod sa masyado na siya, I admire his yung pagiging ambisyon niya, ambisyoso niya to run for presidency even if naging mayor lang siya for one term. He could have stayed in Manila for 2 more terms, pero I don't know what happened. Siguro nadala na siya ng emotion. Also, the name calling. It all started actually with Duterte, kasi doon nag-start talaga yung hate towards Lenny. I even asked my sister and my mother, bakit ba galit na galit kay Lenny? What's the problem? And then sabi nila kesyo lutang, kesyo lugaw, kesyo hindi raw alam kung gaano karaming islands ang meron sa Pilipinas, like it mattered. And somehow we have it all started with Duterte, and we have confused criticism with destabilization simply because they don't agree with our beliefs. They're against us. And because our leaders inspire their supporters, dito nagsulputan yung mga vloggers who echo his rhetorics na naging bastos or mas naging bastos other than their sponsor or their principal. I've seen multiple instances of supporters from different candidates who for some reason they abandoned every iota of civility and just went haywire in name calling to those who disagree with their beliefs. Ibiro mo si Shell Jokno, they've been calling him out because of his appearance. Na parang, come on, let's focus on the message. And then yung perceived mental intellect, somehow it's an issue. Although tayo din guilty rin tayo dito dahil tinatawag din nating ngiwi si Mr. Marcos. So alam mo yun, parang masyadong nawala yung civility in terms of those things. Pero a town hall meeting of the late John McCain during the presidential campaign noong 2008. And then there are 2 supporters na nagtanong sa kanya who voiced their concerns about they're afraid of Barack Obama becoming president because he is in cohorts with domestic terrorists. Ang sabi lang ni John McCain is, Barack Obama is a decent person and a person that you don't have to be scared. Another supporter actually told him na I can't trust Obama because I have read about him and I learned that he's an Arab. Parang yun ang sabi ng isang supporter. And ang sabi ni John McCain, no ma'am, he's not. He's a decent family man and citizen that I just happen to have disagreements on fundamental issues. Ito yung klase ng leader that we need, someone who inspires us and someone who calls us out saying, hey, mali yung ginagawa mo, hindi tama yan, hindi dapat natin ginagawa yan. I never heard that on any other candidate. I'm sorry, I'm including Lenny because sorry, you can correct me if I'm wrong kasi hindi ko siya din narinig na nag-correct. Pero parang somehow hindi tayo, ang sinasabi lang lagi ni Mr. Marcos, let's avoid negative campaigning, pero there's no weight. Walang bigat na sumusunod yung tao sa kanya kasi yung mga vloggers niya, yung mga I don't know what to call them, vloggers niya is parang hindi nakikinig. So, di ba, the leader should inspire good things, na for us to do good things. And somehow walang nag-correct, walang nag-call out ng mga candidates na saying, hey, mali yan siya sabi nyo. I mean, Lenny might, if I'm just channeling out Mr. Marcos, I'm expecting this from Mr. Marcos saying, mga supporters ko, si Lenny hindi siya lutang, hindi siya lugaw, pero she has done some things. It's just that we just happen to disagree with things. Alam mo yun, I was expecting him to say that coming from someone who shouts unity all the time. Wala ang naririnig mo lang is alika magsama-sama tayo, pero he never actually said something good with other candidates or with those na yung mga ganong scenes yun sana yung nakakatulong to booster yung confidence na everyone is civil, this is all campaign lang to, wag tayo masyadong maging personal. So, yun lang yung nakikita kong sobrang pangit sa election na to. Actually,
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much, Derek.
For me naman, babalik talaga ako doon sa basics. Basics meaning this election has highlighted how broken our systems. Number one, tungkol ito sa substitution. No? This was paved way noong 2016. The way how Duterte catapulted sa presidency, parang nag-substitute lang siya kay Secretary Dino. And ngayon, mas parang inuulit nila. Hindi lang yung camp ng PDP, but Lakas CMD is also doing it na parang they would posture someone in waiting for their final candidate. And to me, that is a no-no. And then number two, broken system dahil ano pa rin, political dynasties. This election has cemented the political dynasties. Basing from the result, no, may mag-ina in the likes of Mark Villar and Cynthia Villar. May mag-ate in the likes of Pia and Alan Cayetano. And thank God, hindi nakapasok yung mag-amang Binay, no? Because it would make them 8 in total. And parang paano ba natin ito gagawin? Parang to me, these ugly things or broken system, matagal na to eh. So kailangan ngayon na mas na-highlight siya, mas nagamit, mas they took advantage of it. Sana mag-spur talaga ito ng challenge, no? Challenge for them to really at least fix it na parang at least doon sa political dynasty. Meron naman siya sa constitution pero walang enabling law. May mga from the past Congress, may nagpasa na but hindi talaga umabot sa umabot lang siya sa plenary pero never siyang umabot sa first reading. But you know, I always wanted to remain hopeful that time will come, no? That we will be able to pass anti-political dynasty, yung mga anti-turncoatism dahil sa eleksyon na ito, very highlighted siya. And even the party list system needs to be looked into dahil according sa mga research, 67% of our party list members are just extension of our political dynasty family. So it is alarming, no? And sana gawin nilang challenge to para mas mapabuti pa ang sistema, lalong-lalo na sa mga taong sumisigaw ng unity. Dahil ito ang tunay na unity, ang pagsasaayos ng broken system.
Okay. And parang, ano tawag nito? I'll just share my 2 cents then at the same time, I will drop you guys a topic na parang for me, one of the ugliest things that ever happened during this election. Pero before I open that, isa talaga sa pinaka-gripe ko is that we are still too emotional as Filipinos. Ano tawag nito? We can never be objective. I think that's the reality na until now I have to accept. We can never be objective. In ano big sabihin nito? We always focus on the person, never the action, never the behavior. Automatic pag kinall out mo yung ganitong behavior, ay, pang-aatake na yun sa tao, which is not the case. Kasi, ang isang professional, you can accept criticisms, you can accept kung ano yung mga feedbacking sa'yo because it was just a reflection of your behavior and hindi yun pag-aatake sa'yo bilang pagkatao. But people always interpret it as an attack to the person. Yun yung, I think, the ugly side na I think hindi mawawala dito sa atin. Kasi I think this will be, I don't know if this will be a hot take. Yung tipong people are attacking Lenny, people are attacking Marcos, people are attacking Isko or kung sino man na presidential candidates. Ang inaatake nila ay yung mga pangalan nila. Though kay Marcos, we can say that his actions were called out na wala siyang ginawa nung 6 years. Tapos yung actions nung nakinabang siya sa riches ng kanyang parents. So that was justifiable. That was an objective criticism. And yet people do not accept that. They think of it as an attack to the person. And dun din papasok yung pag-uusapan natin kanina na mga elitista na kakampings na inaatake mo yung intelligence ng isang tao. I have friends na Marcos supporter, pero may mga matataas na mga intelligence-wise napakataas. EQ-wise mabubuti. May kilala ako na nagvo-volunteer sa charities pag may free time siya, pero Marcos supporter. It just doesn't make sense attacking the person. Kaya yun lang talaga, nawawala yung objectivity during the elections, and that's the one thing na I know that will never be removed, because as creatures, as people, we are emotional, and maybe pag naging yung objective masyado, magiging tayong robots, I don't know. But I digress. I just sharing my thoughts doon. Pero this is the ugliest thing na napansin ko ngayong election. Yung for sure, nakikita ko to sa mga Facebooks ninyo. Yung unfriending someone, disconnecting someone because of different political beliefs. What's your take on that?
Yeah, may I go first? Ito nagiging practice na siya, hindi lang I think sa elections, but if mas tumataas or mas lumalalim na yung political discourse, tapos parang feeling na natin, we have no other way out but to unfriend or block someone. Feeling ko, mas maging hamon sa atin sana na ibahin yung approach natin bukod dun sa alam mo yun, pag unfriend and more. Kasi, again, parang tingin ko nagiging rason siya para maging divisive, and at the same time maganda sanang ground yung social media para magkaroon ng healthy political discourse with other people, especially for those na wala talagang access sa legit sources or references. Kasi hindi natin alam kung ano yung circle na kinalakihan ng isang BBM supporter or Marcos apologist. Probably kaya siya maraming alam sa fake news ay dahil yung circle niya rin mismo, ganun din yung nakikita, yun yung laman ng newsfeed niya and all. Kumbaga pasisimplehin lang natin siya. And tayo, bilang mas accessible sa atin, yung legit sources na yun, wag tayo sanang mapagod na mulatin tong mga to, kasi at the end of the day, kasama rin sila sa masang api na kailangan nating ipaglaban. And siguro mas bigyan natin ng direksyon yung galit or yung frustration natin. Kasi normal yan. I mean, it happens na talagang minsan gusto mo na lang manabunot, gusto mo na lang to the point na magmura or something. But at the end of the day, kasi yun yung mga taong nasa laylayan na kailangan nating iangat and kailangan nating mulatin. So, siguro mas maganda na if mag-unblock tayo, i-engage natin yung sarili natin sa mga diskusyon na kung alam na natin na sila mismo ay exposed sa fake news, tayo na yung manguna na iwasto yun. Kasi nga, tama yung sinabi ni VP Lenny, huwag na tayo, now is not the time to be mapanghati. Kasi lahat yan paglilingkuran natin at the end of the day. So, ayun.
Okay. How about
Hindi, wala. Unfriend.
Charot! Ganun pala.
Joke lang. Personally, nagawa ko rin yan. Usually kapag kaibigan ko talaga, kakilala ko talaga, unfollow. Kasi minsan for my mental health, for the sake of my mental health, kasi minsan nakikita ko lagi, parang sinubukan ko na siya kausapin. Ayaw naman niya, wala, talagang na siya, parang fake newser na siya talaga. Fake newscaster na talaga siya. So parang, huwag ko na lang siya tingnan kasi hindi ko naman din kayang i-unfriend. Parang ganon. Pero meron na lang ako iba, lalo na yung mga former students na talagang masyadong toxic. In-unfriend ko na talaga. Kasi, siguro personally, hindi ko naman talaga sila friend eh. Kumbaga parang Facebook levels lang naman yung pagiging friend namin. Tapos parang, siguro isang pinagagalingan ko pa, dating estudyante na kita, so tinuruan na kita eh. Parang ihalong, ano pang pagtuturo ang pwede ko gawin sa'yo? Dati nga, no, estudyante kita, tinuruan na kita. Tapos parang, I don't know, naiintindihan ko yung sinasabi ni Miss Hana, pero ginawa ko na siya sa ibang dati kong students. Pero dun nga, pagka talagang kaibigan, totoo, tapos yung kamag-anak, syempre di mo naman pwedeng i-unfriend yun. Just, siguro nga, babalik pa rin dun sa binabanggit na puso sa puso, tao sa tao, at saka face to face. Mas maganda talaga yung paliwanagan na face to face kasi mas totoo yun. Kasi, alam niyo yung nakita niyo yung isang video na mga aso, pag magkaharap sila, nakasarado yung gate, talagang grabe sila magtahulan, mag-growl sa isa't isa. Pero nung bumukas yung gate, biglang tahimik na sila. I think may ganun din kasi kapag merong filter ng social media, messenger, ganyan eh. So, baka, pero, guilty ako dun sa mayroon akong ibang in-unfriend at meron din akong ibang in-unfollow. Pero, nag-agree rin ako, kailangan mas subukan pang mas lawakan, subukan pang, yun nga, huwag maging mapanghati. Tama yung sinabi mo sa atin. Ayun lang.
Okay.
Nabasa ko sa Reddit na there's one girl who actually broke up with her boyfriend kasi nalaman niya na binoto nung guy si Mr. Marcos. The guy, actually hindi makapaniwala yung guy na parang, tayo na naman, babe, bakit mo naman ako hiwalayin dahil lang sa binoto ko? Parang ganon. Tapos sumagot lang yung girl na, nagtaka ka talaga? Parang volunteer ako kay Lenny. Anong in-expect mong reaction ko? And I think for me to answer your question, I won't unfriend them kasi we're just giving them more space to their echo chamber. They need to, I mean, they can unfollow you if gusto nila yon, pero at least let's give them the choice to still hear our side. There's this one influencer who I used to follow, or actually hindi ko naman siya friend talaga. Basta alam ko lang na influencer siya. Sabi lang niya na idol talaga nila kay Miss Robredo, kay Lenny, because sinisiraan niya si Mr. Marcos. I think that's because of that Boy Abunda interview. Doon nagsimula yun eh, I think. Pero I know for a fact na decided na sila to be even before that. And that's the one thing that I think I observed. Lahat ng mga bumoto kay Marcos, decided na sila. They don't need to hear another word of preaching na mali yung ginawa nila, sarado na yung isip nila eh. And you cannot really open a door na sarado na. All you can do is knock. And that's why I think na empathy, showing of empathy is more convincing than educating. Kasi if you show, sabi nga dun sa favorite book, actually nabasa ko rin yun, doon ko una nabasa yung empathy To Kill a Mockingbird. Sabi nga ni Atticus Finch, you need to put yourself into their shoes in order to understand where they're coming from. Kasi once you understood where they're coming from, you'd better be able to position your argument or your words not to offend them. Kasi if you offend them, wala na, tapos na yan. Hindi ka nakakausapin yan, hindi ka napakinggan. And kasi ang problema kapag we try to educate them, medyo nafe-feel nila na parang condescending na dating. Kaya tuloy, di ba, naririnig natin, respect my opinion. Kasi sarado na, parang wag na, ayoko na marinig yan. So, for me, I'm probably not going to unfriend them. Siguro I'll stay away from social media kasi tutusin dapat hindi naman tayo masyadong madalas sa social media. I stay away from it from time to time kasi nai-stress lang ako. Pero yeah, I don't want to
Sorry.
akin naman,
Mm.
parang I don't directly unfriend someone. I have to fill my tank first. Parang may mini-measure akong within my inner feeling na parang kung kaya pa ba? O kung kaya pa, sige. Kung hindi na, and paano ako dumadating sa point na hindi na talaga? I believe that we are in a democracy. Again, uulitin ko yung sinabi ko kanina. Alam ko na karamihan sa atin o halos lahat sa atin gustong mag-contribute sa kahit na anong discourse, lalong-lalo na sa politics kasi siya yung trend ngayon. Pero please lang, kapag magko-contribute naman tayo, siguraduhin natin na tama yung sources, updated ba yung information na gusto natin. Parang updated in a sense like, kung bibigyan mo ko ng information about Mr. Marcos, wag naman yung tungkol sa tatay niya. Wag naman yung na-debunk na sa mga journals or books. Dahil number one, hindi naman yung tatay niya yung tumakbo. Siya yung mismo, yung junior. So, kung gusto mong mag-contribute sa discourse ni Marcos Jr., malamang hanapin mo naman yung kanyang mga nagawang Senate bills or trabaho na nag-stay siya as senators. So, kung alam ko na nagko-contribute lang itong taong ito with correct sources and all, hindi ko pa siya i-unfriend dahil alam ko naman sa bawat post ko, sa bawat share ko ng to refute a certain issue about the Marcoses or to any candidate, perhaps may alam akong kumbaga madadala ko pa siya sa side ko or at least to correct them. Meron naman tayong alam na ito pwede pa itong tulungan, no? Pero tama din yung sinabi ni Derek na parang may mga tao talagang close-minded na din. So although sabi nga ni Madam VP, radikal ang magmahal, minsan talaga parang ang sarap lang kurutin din, no? But ayun nga, dahil sinabi ng ating VP Lenny at siya yung ating nakikitang simbolo ng pag-asa and all, so kailangan din siguro i-practice natin na lawakan yung ating pag-iisip. Pero kung talagang kailangan na nating mag-unfriend for mental health reason, then by means, go ahead, no? Pero siguro timbang-timbangin din natin at the end of the day.
Okay. And also, since this is the last conversation natin, parang just to add, when it comes to unfriending, kasi I realized that if you unfriend someone, yung because of different views in politics, you turn a blind eye to what is happening doon sa palibot mo and you just focus on what you see is beautiful. You only focus on sa tingin mo kung ano yung maganda. I remember so many posts ng mga Facebook friends ko na kung saan yung tipong if your Facebook wall is surrounded by people who wear pink as their profile picture, you know that you are surrounded with people that are good. Pardon may sarcastic voice. Nasanay ako pag ganun. Yun nga, nung time na yun, na-realize ko, syempre, karamihan ng friends mo pink ang suot kasi I am sure most of them you've unfriended or blocked. Therefore, ang papasok sa algorithm mo is people who are in the same belief sets as you. Yung parang, yun nga, going back, parang nagiging exclusive na naman din siya. Na kung saan, kaya marami akong kilalang Lenny supporters na niwalang-niwala talaga silang panalo si Lenny. Kasi nakafocus lang sila doon sa bubble nila, ng group nila, ng mga Lenny supporters lang. Siyempre, of course, doon lang talagang iisipin mong mananalo si Lenny kasi you are surrounded with people that has the same mindset. Of course, so kaya nung natalo si Lenny, people were heartbroken. But if you will see the different perspectives ng iba't ibang supporters, they all believe na mananalo yung kandidato nila. So sadyang by having that kind of mindset na ay, iba yung political views mo, out kita. Parang you're limiting your vision. You're narrowing your vision kung ano lang yung sa tingin mo ang maganda. and disregarding kung ano yung bad sides ng lipunan natin or yung bad sides na nakikita mo. Because as people living in a society, as Filipinos, you take the good with the bad as well. Kung nakikita mo na kung si Lenny ang pag-asa, dapat you have to see kung ano yung mga bagay na nakakahadlang doon. You don't shut them out. That's why napakagandang leader ni Lenny because she sees that. She knows that. And she prioritized that. And yun, that's why I think that's the ugliest part of this election because you are cutting out people eh. People are assets sa isang bansa. And if people are not entwined or doesn't have this common perspective with each other, parang talagang walang uniting mangyayari. So parang yun. I agree with Franz. If it's for your mental peace, go ahead. Unfollow. Turn off notifications. Sa akin yun na ginawa ko. I turn off notifications. Pero nakikita ko pa rin pag nagpo-post sila ng ibang mga bagay-bagay. Nag-uusap-usap pa naman kami. Because, ang tawag nito, may nakita ko mga kwento sa Facebook na yung magtatay, magnanay, hindi na nag-uusap after elections. May magbarkada for 8 years, hindi na nag-usap because of elections. Yung tipong, yes, we have different values, we have different beliefs. Yung president mo reflects your moral values, but you're still both Filipinos. You're still living in the Philippines. At the end of the day, you will still benefit kung ano ang mangyayari sa gobyerno ngayon. You will share the benefits and the disadvantages as well. So, why not take this journey together and help kung hindi kaya ng isa? So, parang ganun. I don't know. I may be speaking idealistically, but that's my hope in the upcoming future. That's why I'm so happy na natalo si Lenny. Kasi she can focus on the NGOs or the new government organization. Sorry, naalala ko lang yung post sa social media, so at least she can focus. Yeah. She can focus. Actually, on
yeah, I reported that video. I think one thing din na dapat natin gawin, yung video na yun na nagpapakalat siya na NGO is a different acronym. Ni-report ko na lang siya na misleading information.
True. You can agree. And parang given with that statement na sinabi ko kanina, we'll just focus on the last part. This will be ito na yung pinaka-last, then we will end this episode. What's your hope? Ano yung mga foreseeable na pag-asa ninyo sa mga susunod na taon? So before we do that, Ren, would you like to add something?
Ano lang siguro, balikan ko lang parang sinabi ni Derek na huwag tayo masyadong magbabad nga sa social media. Na babalik pa rin tayo, mas maganda kung gusto talaga natin makahamig ng mga kasama sa mga layunin natin sa buhay, sa politics, ganyan. Maganda pa rin face-to-face, tao-tao. Kasi doon, makikita nila yung totoo, ikaw, kinakausap mo sila, totoo, hindi dahil lang sa ito yung nabasa sa social media, kundi dahil ito yung paliwanag mo based on your own recognition of yung tao na kausap mo.
Mm-hmm.
So, yun lang.
Okay. And with that said, let's proceed with the hopes natin. Hana, ano ang mga positive outlooks mo ngayon in this coming years, in this new in this new administration?
Meron ba? Charot. Ayun. But anyway, can I just say before I answer that, I love the insights and all, and I love how progressive and how forward we are to each other. And sana magkaroon pa ng mas maraming platforms para mas ma-express natin yung sarili natin when it comes to politics. So thank you so much for this, PJ, for this episode. So hope ko siguro isa kasi talaga sa mga nagpabigay ng motivation sa akin this week was yung Angat Buhay NGO. And to think na natalo si Lenny pero she still chose to take a path na para pa rin sa sambayanan when she could have just chose the simple path na lang with her daughters. Ayan. So, it gives me hope, honestly. But at the same time, sana rin maintindihan natin na ang mga NGO ilan lang yan sa mga movement na pwede nating magawa para mas ma-improve yung kung ano mang meron sa society natin ngayon. Siguro tama yung sinabi ni Ren na labas na tayo sa social media, sa comfort zones natin. And I sincerely hope makita ko kayo sa kung ano mang mangyari sa lansangan kasi eto na yung totoong pagtindig at totoong definition ng radikal na pagmamahal. Kumbaga, hindi na tayo mambabarda, hindi na tayo magagalit sa isa't isa. And doon natin mas marirealize na once na ma-embrace na natin yung radikal na pagmamahal, may chances na pwede nating mabago yung kung ano mang problema sa lipunan ngayon, like yung historical revisionism and all, like yung kung paano ba naniniwala yung mga nasa laylayan sa lipunan sa mga fake news at syempre at the same time iangat yung buhay nila. So I sincerely hope gamitin nyo yung platforms nyo pa, improve pa yung pakipag-usap sa mga tao like heart to heart. Charot, very girly na ako ngayon. But ayun, sana magpatuloy lang and mas lakasan natin yung loob natin kasi hindi naman to para sa atin para to sa future generations. We're fighting for a better tomorrow and I think yun yung pinakamahalaga sa lahat. So, yun.
Okay, thank you so much, Hannah. So, Ren, ikaw.
Okay, yun. Dadagdagan ko lang yun. Sana magtuloy-tuloy nga yung volunteerism talaga. Nung nilabas ni VP, in-announce si VP Lenny na magkakaroon nga siya ng Angat Buhay NGO, parang kami ng fiancé ko, ang ano namin, tara, game, pag sasali tayo, mag-volunteer tayo, tutulong tayo, ganyan. Pero, natatandaan ko rin, sinabi ko rin to sa fiancé ko, during the last rally, na, sabi ko sa kanya, kapag talaga naging sobrang sama, ni Bongbong, I mean, kapag kumuha talaga siya na talagang buburahin niya na talaga yung kasaysayan. I don't know what he will do. But if he goes there, if he oppresses us, if they do again what they did before, sabi ko sa kanya, pumunta talaga akong kalsada Sabi ko, it's time. Parang ganon na hindi ako masyadong mangingimi na pumunta pa dun sa mas radikal na paraan ng paghingi ng pagbabago na dinadalawan ko rin naman nung mga unang panahon na nasa universidad pa ako. So, gagawin ko rin yun. I think, syempre, gusto ko din alalay lang, di ba? Kumbaga parang, tingnan muna rin natin. Huwag naman tayo maging sobrang mainit, pero kapag nagbigay siya ng dahilan para maging mainit, sabi ko nga, yun na yung exciting part.
Okay, thank you so much, Ren. Derek?
Ako, ako, sa totoo lang, happy ako na makakapanood na si Jillian ng K-drama with her mom. Kasi yun naman talaga yung gusto niya. Makakapasyal na silang mag-iina sa kung saan man lugar nila gustuhin na wala silang sinusundang oras na kailangan magmamadali silang umuwi. So I'm happy for that. With our administration, actually I have more fears than hope. Pero I'm hoping na somehow the administration can help yung mga farmers and yung mga fishers natin for our food security na rin. Kasi ang hirap pagka we are more focused on infrastructure. And while I know na nakakagaan sa pakiramdam pag dumadaan tayo ng expressway, at the end of the day, kumakain tayo lahat. So I'm hoping na they would focus on those things as well. Hopeful ako na sana yung i-assign, sana magkaroon sila ng more media-friendly spokesperson. Kasi Attorney Rodriguez is not media-friendly. I think pinapakita, sa totoo lang, mas takot ako sa mga tao sa paligid ni Mr. Marcos more than Mr. Marcos himself. kasi masyadong nag-amplify na agad yung effects. Like, red tagging Adarna Publishing House, and then not answering direct questions from the media. And then, media people basically not responding to it, saying na sana man lang, tulungan nyo man lang yung kapwa nyo media person na sagutin nung spokesperson yung tanong na hindi niya pinansin. Alam mo yun, magtulungan naman kayo kasi kayo na lang ang magkakampi dyan. I hope na this administration would be more receptive to criticism as compared to the previous administration. Kung totoo man yung sinasabi nilang unity, sana, di ba, makinig sila. Pero kasi, alam mo yun, ang hirap kasing paniwalaan, especially if you hear so many lies, na parang second nature na sa kanila yun. So, pero still, yun na lang, wala naman tayong magagawa kundi maging hopeful. And yeah, yun lang talaga sa totoo lang. Mostly fears dahil sa mga tinatakbo na mga events these days.
Okay. Thank you so much, Derek. How about you, Franz?
Sisimulan ko by saying, Vox Populi Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Lumilinaw na sa quick count na we will have a parent president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. And it's sad because after 36 years of their fall down, parang bumalik ulit tayo sa bilog. No, parang pinabalik natin sila, isinuka na sana sila pero pinabalik pa din. But moving forward, I would like to remain hopeful as it is. No, na sana talaga sana tuparin niya yung mga pinangako niya, lalo na yung 20 pesos na bigas dahil kailangan talaga yun ng mahihirap yung sa agriculture sector. But my fears are getting into my nerves already because there are signs already na medyo, he would undertake another path just to redeem their family name, of course. Pero again, I will be hopeful and siguro thankful na din ako na naisip ni VP Leni na gumawa ng non-government organization because if she would be able to bring that out into a bigger force pa, to my belief, VP Leni will be a political force that can steer the direction of our government for the next 6 years. So what I mean by that is kung maayos niyang pagkadala lahat ng mga volunteers na ito, she will have a bigger voice to amplify pa kung ano man yung gagawin nung Marcos administration. Parang siya yung magbabuffer sa atin. And to end, siguro nais ko lang magpasalamat by saying salamat sa lahat ng tumindig, ipunin ang natitirang lakas at pag-asa dahil sa muling pagtawag ng panahon, nakahanda na tayong muling tumindig pa. At nagsisimula pa lang ang laban natin. So, we should speak while we can because hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan ang pagkakataong tayo makapagsalita pa. Salamat.
Okay. And ang tawag nito? When it comes to my hopes na, I hope na magkaroon tayo ng unity. Charot. Joke lang. Parang sorry. I can't help it. Pero one of the hopes that I have ngayon is that una sa lahat, ang mata ng mundo nakatingin sa Pilipinas. Lahat ng bansa nakatingin sa Pilipinas. And I am sure all of those countries ay aware sa naging desisyon ni Miss Leni Robredo na magtayo ng NGO. One of the best hopes na meron ako is that nakita ng ibang bansa, sana magkaroon ng international linkages ang NGO ni Miss Robredo. That would be the best case scenario na pwedeng mangyari doon sa NGO na yan. All eyes ng mundo ay nasa Pinas and hopefully that action of Leni will lead to international linkages na kung hindi kayang magawa ng government ng Marcos administration, at least kayang gawin ng NGO ni Miss Leni. And when it comes to the people naman, when it comes to the spirit of volunteerism, the best hope that I have is that everyone should be a volunteer. Regardless kung Robredo supporter ka, regardless kung ano yung political colors mo. Volunteer. If you want to help someone, volunteer to help. Clean, lahat. Anong tawag nun? Yung sa movie ni Evan Almighty na doing random acts of kindness. It's kind of like it's volunteering in a sense. You do this random acts of kindness towards people that you know or you do not know, and it will just snowball from there. Kung ang kasamaan ay kayang lumaki, for sure lalo na rin ang pagtatrato ng kabutihan sa iba. So that's it. With that said, that is ano tawag nito? That is this episode. Hindi naman siya, this is not the longest episode actually. Mas mahaba pa yung episode natin, Derek yung doon sa may pag-asa pa ba ang Pilipino mas mahaba pa yun dito So, I think the guest that we have for today, Ren, Hannah, Franz, Derek, thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful conversation. And please, sa mga nakikinig, if by some miracle nakarating kayo on this point of conversation, again, please do follow and listen to their podcast, and hopefully you will engage, you will allow yourself to engage more in political discourse and political participation. With that said, this is your host PJ, and you're now listening, or you have listened to this episode of Chill Talks, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.